Welcome to the movie Screams Horror Show. Our host, Roosevelt Samariel, has an exclusive interview with David Simpson, the founder of the Little 5 Points Halloween Parade. Check it out.
But it's grown from from what was initially just more of a community celebration. A time for Little 5 Points to celebrate what makes it different than every other commercial area of the city of Atlanta. Our diversity, our creativity, our edginess, all of that is kind of on display during the Halloween parade. So it's a celebration. It's kind of like the fall harvest festival tradition and the Halloween tradition and all that, but it's also very much a neighborhood celebration of who we are and why we're a little bit different, a little bit wackier, a little bit cooler than any other place in the city of Atlanta.
I noticed, being from like Fort Lauderdale, when I come to Atlanta, I noticed like Little 5 Points is completely, it's like a mixture of these different cultures, like kind of like.
Absolutely. That's one of the things we celebrate in our Halloween parade is the diversity, and we get very cool people who come here to visit, but come here to establish businesses. Music has always been a real central thing to our neighborhood in terms of the clubs and the venues, such as the Variety that have musical events every weekend and through the week. But you notice that too. It does have it has a mix of cultures. It has a mix of musical styles too, for that matter.
Because I noticed, like, it's like if you go, even if you go to like Midtown, whatever, like Little 5 Points to me is probably the only area that kind of captures that still has that indie punk rock mixture to it, whereas other parts of Atlanta, it's really like it's really conservative. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like sort of like New York, a little bit of like San Francisco.
Well, I think it's the most tolerant neighborhood in the city, although there's some things that we don't tolerate either. But this is a neighborhood of independence. This is where you have some of the last mom and pop stores that are run by their owners. They have one store, or rapidly falling to the Walmarts of the world. But here we have a number of independent bookstores, for example, and record stores, which are very much pressured today by the big guys, big sellers. But they've managed to survive and thrive here. The Variety is one of the few independent venues not run by some big corporation, as many music venues are. That was the best and biggest independent venue in the city of Atlanta.
Can you tell me why is that when like a lot of areas where you see like big retailers will come in and like all the mom and pop stores slowly disappear? Whereas Little 5 Points, you don't really see that. It's still very much supported by a lot of independent retailers, whereas other places in other parts of the country, you'll see a major change, like department store change or bookstore change come in the area, and the whole area kind of like just basically disappeared. And Little 5 Points, to me, it's kind of like still has that feeling.
Well, it's because our demographic, the people who come here are looking for an alternative to the mall. That's precisely who comes here. They'd rather shop in an independent shoe seller or clothes seller or other retail stores like that. So we attract that, even though when they opened this huge mall a block away, it didn't really affect us because we've got a lot of niche retailers here. For example, my store, the Coyote Trading Company, is a sells American Indian, authentic American Indian crafts and jewelry, and that's a real niche that it's very hard to Walmartize. So we've got stores like that sustain us. And of course, we've got all the best tattoo and piercing parlors in the city of Atlanta here. So that's what keeps this neighborhood lively. We also have some very involved property owners, although many of the property owners here are not involved. There are some that are, and they really help to push the neighborhood in the right direction and clean the neighborhood up, solve some of the problems that we have had in the past with public safety issues, so that it's really a really thriving neighborhood today.
And so how did you get the idea for...
Well, the idea for the parade came originally from this year. Inman Park is having its 40th annual parade and festival, and they've always had a very cool parade as part of their festivities, which I admired very much. And I knew the woman who had helped to organize it for many years, a woman by the name of Holly Mull. And it had always occurred to me, not only me but to others, that of all the holidays, Halloween may fit Little 5 Points more than any other, holiday in the country. I mean, there's jokes made here about every day is Halloween, since a lot of people come here like to dress up in different wigs and costumes and outfits. So in 2000, I spoke with Holly Mull and asked her if she could organize a parade, a Halloween parade here, just like the parades that she had organized at Inman Park. And she said, sure. And I asked her, well, what would we have to do? How would we make this happen? How would we pay for it? She said, I can raise the money. I can put on the parade and I can raise the money to pay for it too. And I said, okay, and the Business Association said okay, and we had our first little parade. I wish I don't have enough historical data on that, or how big it was, or how much it cost, but it was a small affair, just a parade. And it came off without a hitch, and Holly raised enough sponsor money that it paid for itself and did not cost us anything, which is really important to a lot of people. But it's just grown. It's taken a life of its own. More creative people have gotten involved since then. Holly passed away last year, right before the 10th annual parade, but we have new event organizers helping us make it happen this year. But it's grown tremendously. The costs are now somewhere in the neighborhood of $50,000. The application to make it happen, which was 2 or 3 pages long when we first started, is now something over 100 pages long. The requirements by the city of Atlanta are numerous and sometimes Byzantine. We have to pay for everything from toilets to off-duty policemen to an ambulance standing by, to not to mention the stages and those sorts of things where we put our bands on. So it's gotten to be it's grown quite a bit, but it's still a great fit for the neighborhood. We are Halloween. People come here to buy their costumes a month in advance of Halloween.
Have you ever took part in the parade?
I'm usually like a marshal or something like that. Oh yeah, I take part in it, but I'm not on a float.
You were like any of the costumes or anything like that?
Do I do what?
You wore like any of the costumes or anything?
No, I just wear an armband that says I'm a marshal.
Like, how do you see the parade like in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, mostly I hope it just continues to happen, because when we provide that venue for people the amount of creativity that rises up out of our community, and in fact the whole community of Atlanta, is just amazing. And I think that's our role in the years to come, is to provide that venue for people to come up with the craziest floats, the wackiest costumes. And I think and sustaining what we have now, I think is really my goal for the next 5 years. There are a lot of pressures, economic pressures, city regulation pressures, and everything else that mitigate against it. And I just hope that we can overcome all those and continue to have this event, this landmark event, world famous event. The best Halloween parade I'm aware of in the entire Southeast, and one of the top 2 or 3 in the nation.
Do you think like the parades, because they have like a lot of concerts and stuff like that? Do you think this like provides a great venue for like a lot of indie bands to like perform and stuff like that?
Well, it does. In fact, I think they're all local bands actually, and that is one of the goals, is to promote local acts that are good anyway.
So like how do people like involved in putting the parade together?
Well, we don't have the numbers of volunteers that, for instance, Inland Park does. Inland Park has 40 committee chairmen and 900 volunteers. We have about 4 or 5 key people that perform, some kind of committee task for the festival. And then we have paid event organizers that do most of the work for the parade. Unfortunately, a business association is not like a community or neighborhood organization, in that it has a lot fewer people available, volunteers. Business owners work themselves 60 hours a week as it is, and are not like sometimes like homeowners who have a lot of spare time. So business owners don't have a lot of spare time to volunteer, and only a few can do it. But if you count all the people who spend hours and days and weeks building a float or sewing a costume and stuff like that, there's literally thousands of people whose individual efforts come together to make the parade so unique and cool and exciting like it is. So that's where the real volunteer spirit comes in. It's all the people that go to no small amount of trouble to dress themselves up or create a float and to take part in the parade.
So if someone wants to like put together a float for the parade, what's the process?
Well, they go to the website, and there's an application there for to be a float entry, and people can come. I don't know if we've ever organized an actual contingent of people, but if people are in costume, individuals, they can just come and walk in the parade. They're welcome to do that. They can try out their costume, 10 days before the Halloween party that they might be going to, but they can dress up in their costume, walk in the parade.
Because I noticed that a lot of when I was first saw the YouTube videos, a lot of people walk around with like a wild party in costume, but they weren't necessarily clothes.
No, right. And all those people are welcome. If you come in costume, the only thing that's not welcome at parade is politicians. I think, unlike many other parades, we don't allow politicians to get in their car with their little name on the side and stuff like that. I mean, if they come in a costume and no one knows who they are, they're welcome, but they can't use the parade for advance their political cause. Although we do have a lot of other kind of causes in the parade usually, but not politicians. I'm very proud of that, actually. It's also the only parade that has a U-turn in it. Yeah, it goes up here, goes down more, makes a U-turn, it goes back down more.
Because usually parades, they go down that street and you never see them.
Right, no, you can see it twice here. Because they make a U-turn. You can watch it on Euclid and run up here and watch it on Moore.
That's different.
It's different. Only parade I know of that has a U-turn.
Have you ever experienced any difficulties in any particular year putting together the parade?
We've experienced difficulties every year, but we've managed to overcome them.
And what kind of difficulties? Anything coming to mind?
Well, an event of this size always causes some inconvenience, so there's always some controversy about the impact that it has on the neighborhood. In fact, but that's the day of the event. In fact, this event has helped to put Little Five Points on the map, nationally and internationally. It's part of our whole personality that we have this event, and it's what draws visitors from outside the country, from outside the state, people who come to Atlanta for some reason come and visit here because of its cachet, because it's kind of like the Haight-Ashbury of the South or something like that. And this whole Halloween event is part of creating that or expressing our personality that makes us so unique and so interesting to other people. It also, the publicity leading to it drives the sales for the whole month of October in terms of making this a destination. We're a Halloween destination for the whole month of October, which benefits all the businesses. It causes some inconvenience on the day of the event, just as the Inman Park Festival closes down Euclid Avenue for 2 days during their thing. It causes a lot of inconvenience to people. So for that reason, there's always some folks who are unhappy with the event. It happens every year, but in the main, the people who live here, work here, and most of the people who own businesses are very happy with it and believe it really benefits our neighborhood in a very big way.
That was Roosevelt Samariel interviewing David Simpson, founder of the Little 5 Points Halloween Parade. Thank you for checking us out. For more info about the movie Screams Horror Show, go to www.moviescreams.com. That's www.moviescreams.com.